everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
What is the latest here? This is like the latest twist in the kind of ongoing controversy and questions around this new plane.
Exactly. That plane maxing is set to begin soon as the White House is making a plan to quickly upgrade that Qatari gifted Air Force One that President Trump unveiled just a few weeks ago. And this comes with some remarkable reporting from our colleague Kristen Holmes. She says that according to two sources familiar with the matter, there were internal discussions among Trump administration's officials about whether President Trump should avoid flying that new plane in high threat areas. Now, the extent of these forthcoming upgrades are unclear, but it comes after the president returned from Turkey on the old plane after flying there on the new plane. He said that was because the new plane was going to be sent to Mildenhall Air Force Base in the United Kingdom for service members to give it a tour. But we reported at the time, just a couple of weeks ago, that that decision was driven, at least in part, by escalating security concerns as this conflict with Iran had been ramping up.
So Iran has a bounty on Donald Trump's head, unfortunately. They'll never be able to touch him. But the fact of the matter is, all they had to do was start a war in the air. That would have launched a lot of concerns if Iran. I don't think they have the military force to do it, to actually fight our planes in the air, because anywhere the president goes, there are fighter jets on standby, ready to go. Okay, they ready to go. Okay, so this plane, he said, of course, was going to be down for, for service members to tour the plane. Well, actually, we're finding out that there are safety concerns that this plane is not only ill-equipped to carry the president, it does not have nuclear defense capabilities. It does not have refueling in the air capabilities. It doesn't have anything. It is basically a flying death trap for the president of the United States.
In those days. Now, before that trip, officials had discussed the possibility of Trump not traveling on that plane to high risk areas, but the decision was ultimately made for the president to proceed on this brand new plane. It was cleared for use, the president traveling to Ankara for the G7 summit. Now, officials, one of those sources told Kristen, later realized that clearing it for use on that trip was a mistake, and now they are going to take some steps to rectify that. We heard from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt in a statement. She says, quote, "The new Air Force One is perfectly safe for the president's travels, but will receive additional upgrades and enhancements in the fall, which will take approximately 1 month to complete."
I don't like Carolyn Leibowitz. I hate her. She just lied. You remember that one lady, Sue? I guess she's the governor in damn Arkansas now or something like that. Oh my God, she was the liarest of the liars of everybody who ever worked. Now she was great at her job. She was very good at her job. Her name was like Sue. Damn, I can't remember her name. But she was very ugly. Not like in character, like facial. She was ugly. Thick eyebrows. Full figure face, just mean spirited. She was just a mean spirited woman. But anyway, Caroline Leavitt is at least easy on the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Easy on the eyes. Still a liar though. The new Air Force One is perfectly safe for the president's travels. No, it's not. It does not. You know why it's not? Because as soon as he got the plane, you think American intelligence given them the intelligence of America's Air Force One to Qatar to put on a plane for the president? Absolutely not. So it was never equipped yet. So he had to come here and get it equipped. But he decided, I want to fly it anyway, just to be big and bad and show itself. You put yourself at risk, sir. And that's why, I don't know, I had to talk with somebody about all his assassination attempts in quotation marks, air quotes. But yeah, crazy work, right?
Now, the president is still expected to use
Sarah Huckabee. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, woof. She was a grenade for sure.
this plane for some domestic trips, as well as the possibility of international trips in the coming months before those upgrades. But some experts have warned that that 1 month timeline isn't enough for the extent of the security upgrades that they say are needed.
Just to start with the speed with which this jet was rolled out, this new Air Force One was rolled out, what did you make of it?
Well, we can look at how long it's taken to build the new 747s for the president. I think it's been 6 or 7 years. So, it takes a good deal of time to prepare those aircraft for presidential travel. We think of 747s as, transport airplanes or commercial airliners. These are actually Air Force aircraft, and they're prepared for a whole lot more than what the typical 747 flying customers around is.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, quote, "The new Air Force One is perfectly safe for the president."
So basically, they gave him a pretty commercial airline. he really flying United. Looking at
Its travels will receive additional upgrades and enhancements in the fall, which will take approximately 1 month to complete. During that time, the president will fly on the old Air Force One. What is your sense of what enhancements would be needed at this point?
Well, first of all, they're classified. So not besides, I don't know details about them. They don't like to talk about them. The Air Force won't specifically talk about them, but they've got all kinds of capabilities to be able to recognize and mitigate any threats that may occur to the aircraft in the air, in addition to the aerial refueling. So there's a lot of things that this U.S. Air Force plane can do with a full Air Force crew to prepare and defend itself and fly safely with the President of the United States. A critical mission that they have every day.
And they're extraordinarily good at what they do, having been on Air Force One a number of times. One of the questions that I've had is, you make the really great point about how long the process was taking compared to this one. Is a month, as the White House press secretary says, all it's really going to take to update the plane to where it needs to be?
Well, there's radars, there's different electronic warfare devices, there's elements that this airplane will have to protect the cargo, which is the President of the United States. Whether they can do that in a month or not, we saw them try and do it as quick as they could. Flying domestically is probably a whole lot safer, but flying out of Turkey, where they were literally on the border with Iran while we're in conflict with Iran, and so they were within arm's reach of the enemy at this point, I can see that there was certainly concerns in that area. But once they got back to friendlier skies, they obviously made a decision that the president could fly on the aircraft at that point. But in order to have that airplane ready to go 24/7 anywhere in the world, they want to make sure it has absolutely every defensive capability that it needs to have to protect the president. And that's what they're going to do. And if they can do that in a month, that's great. And then you got to figure a couple of years from now, when the president's out of office, they'll have to what's called demill the airplane, which is take a lot of these capabilities off, because when he uses that aircraft as part of his presidential library, he won't have the need or the ability to fly with those defensive measures.
The president, you mentioned, you made a really good point earlier about there's a lot of stuff they don't talk about with these planes. You kind of know riding on them that they have capabilities, but you don't know exactly what it is. The president was asked specifically about anti-missile defense systems, which the Qatari plane reportedly was not yet equipped with. He actually answered the question on some level. Does the standard Air Force One have on it things that make it something similar to that? Is that what makes it so secure?
Well, Air Force, listen, again, I'm not an Air Force One pilot and don't have access to the capabilities they have. I just know that they will spare no expense to assure that that plane, every time the president is on it, is as safe as possible with every anti-missile capability they have, every radar that's necessary, every electronic intelligence gathering tool that they have, as well as a full crew of Air Force operators that are on board to operate that military equipment, which is not equipment you see on a typical civilian 747. So getting that in place, getting that tested, getting it ready, and getting it usable is what's critical here. And whether it takes a month to finish it off or a few months, they're going to make sure that they do that, because Air Force doesn't want the president to be in harm's way, Secret Service doesn't want to be in harm's way, and of course the president doesn't want to be in harm's way.
All right, so as a person who knows a lot about planes, probably more than anyone, I know planes more than anyone, okay? It will probably take longer than a month, depending on if you're putting on satellites and stuff like that. You're talking about dismantling parts inside and possibly outside. What also is a security is tracking. Okay, planes can be tracked all over in different instances, but when it comes to Air Force One, they want no sort of tracking on that plane from civilians or foreign national countries. So there's a lot of concern right there with this plane, and I think they're going to basically debug it right now with everything that Qatar put on it and replace it with all new equipment. Doesn't matter how much it costs Qatar. The United States is not about to spare an expense on replacing it with all stuff that comes from the United States government. Because who was in charge of watching this plane being built and overhauled? Now, I'm not saying that they would do it, but there's a lot of key components in these planes that anybody could slip a bug in somewhere, and I'm pretty sure the Secret Service probably swept this plane up and down. But there's still a factor that could be that the plane, it serves as some high risk, especially in foreign national waters, especially while Iran has a current bounty on Donald Trump's head. I just don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see it happening in a month. I think this will take a lot longer. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. Like, really, honestly, it needs to be done. If the president is in danger, he needs to just get in Sleepy Joe's plane, and you'll be fine. Okay, all he did was sleep on there, so it's probably still comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like he did a lot of walking around.
I do want to ask you about the fact that he has gone after. There's a lot of discussion about this plane.
Yeah.
And even before there was reporting that the reason why they didn't use it coming back from NATO was because of security concerns, there were security concerns. That was kind of a well-known thing. But now he is going after this leak. He's going after journalists, asking for all manner of things. He's going after people inside of his staff. As to whether they leaked something to them, even though this was kind of widely known that this plane needed some more potential security apparatus.
Well,
what do you make of the president's actions?
I don't know what was or is widely known on this front, but if you are in possession of security information, national security information that could jeopardize the safety of the President of the United States, and you choose to leak that, I would hope that you're held accountable for that, because that's...
Toby, you're a douche, and I do know planes. I probably know planes more than you, and you're a pilot. I probably know about more plane parts than you. Maybe you know how to fly a plane, but you don't know about planes, sir. You, my friend, need a life, okay? So while you telling me I don't know about planes, I probably know more about planes than you. So shut up and dribble, okay? Go get your pizza and go fondle some little kids. Pizzagate. That's what you said you're gonna do. Go get some pizza. That's what old boy was talking about. Pizzagate. That's your best friend. You probably look like him, Toby. So go get your pizza and go get your kids and go have a good time, you weirdo. Like, but you could tell me Trump know more about housing than anybody. I know more about housing than anybody. I know about grass more than anybody. Trump knows more about everything than anybody. So if I tell you I know more about something, believe me like you believe him. Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. Weirdo, go get your pizza and your little kids and, send us your address so we can send the police over there, you weirdo, nasty boy. You know what I'm saying?
It's indefensible.
So should journalists be held accountable?
Well, every administration has taken some action against journalists when they thought that they were in the wrong. I don't know what the truth is here, and I certainly give journalists and the First Amendment a broad latitude, but I am they tried to assassinate this guy numerous times, And we also know intelligence came from Israel that Iran was going to try to assassinate him while he was over there. He
Oh, intelligence from Israel. Imagine that. Imagine getting intelligence from Israel. Like, your country is the size of freaking Mississippi. What kind of intelligence could you give us, Israel? All right. We know Iran don't like Trump. Like, it's painted on the walls. Like, that's why you don't listen to cucks like this. Like this guy and Toby. You don't listen to them guys, man. Okay, I swear. They take their information. I'm a pilot from Israel. I was an Israeli pilot. Goofy.
is probably as unsafe as any president we've had in the modern era because of all these threats. And so if you're leaking information that could make him more unsafe, I don't look too kindly on that.
I don't think the journalists did anything wrong. I mean, what they did was they released a report after it was announced that he was not going to take the plane. He was not going to be on the plane anyway. There was no danger to his safety whatsoever. And that automatically raises a red flag. Any journalist worth their salt would immediately start asking a question. Wait a minute, he flew this plane, which he's been touting all this time. It cost $400 million allegedly, and maybe even more. And how much more to fix? To all the way over to Turkey, and then he won't fly that same plane back. They had to get another plane in. Any reporter would ask a question. That's a logical question to ask. And to me, this is a reflection of the incompetence of the Trump administration and the corruption of the Trump administration coming together to converge. This is the whole corrupt deal with the Qatari government to accept this royal jet in violation of all constitutional requirements, the Foreign Emoluments Clause and everything else. Not only that, but then he does the wrong job. He doesn't even get the plane fixed right. He's in such a rush because he wants to get this done so he can show off, instead of letting the Air Force take its time and do the job correctly. This is the problem with Donald Trump. He's not focused on the things the American people care about. They care about affordability, and he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars to fix up a damn luxury jet.
Hey, I agree. Hey, look, man. You should have did what you were supposed to do the first time. Like, the Air Force has to take that plane and do what they got to do. They have to. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Donald Trump being Donald Trump, he has to take a chance. And I don't think this is the right time to take a chance overseas when we have a conflict of interest over there. We don't know what's going on in Turkey. Okay, if you believe Turkey got your back, these people will sell you out quicker than Donald Trump will sell Spain out. Donald Trump sold Spain out the very next day after trying to give them the soccer players medals of honor, or the U.S. FIFA Cup, not U.S. FIFA Cup, World Cup, whatever. It don't even matter. They was in the U.S. and Trump act like they was part of the U.S. He act like he was part of Spain. He wanted to be in the photo op, like he actually was on the field playing. Like, bro, get out the way. So much so Spain cropped him out the picture. Like, boy, Trump is the man, okay? He's the man. You got to give it to him. You know, it's no better time to take a photo op. Like, Trump never misses an opportunity. Never misses an opportunity. Remember, the greatest opportunity of a Trump photo op was after the first assassination attempt, where he yelled out, "Fight, baby, fight." Never misses.
Steve, I do want to ask about something that Scott said. He said, look, this president has faced more than one assassination attempt, several, and you can look at the apparatus.
If they took an assassination attempt on Trump on that plane, he gonna jump out the plane with a parachute on him. Fight, baby, fight. He ain't gonna miss that opportunity, dog.
Itself, and say, since that is the case, shouldn't this have been taken care of beforehand, before he took any flights on this particular aircraft?
Well, look, I think Scott had it, nailed it. I mean, you've got to make sure that the president is always safe. This president or any president, you know, we don't want the movie version of Air Force One. And so I don't know what the facts are, but the most important thing is we better make sure that Air Force One is completely safe in the air. and not vulnerable to missiles.
But he
and things
has
like that.
planes. He has other planes. He has other Air Force One jets that are capable of
Last
flying.
word to you, Christine.
And the facts are the plane was not safe enough to carry the president back from Turkey. That is a fact. And that speaks to the question of why was this rushed? Why did this have to go up in the air so quickly as opposed to letting it be maxed out in a month's time?
Navon, the #1 rated business travel.
Well, let me know what y'all think about that in the comments section. I'm gonna just